Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that you have had a wonderful day or evening. I don't know when and where you are when you're hearing this recording, but I hope in this moment you're okay. The Divine asked me to remind you guys gently that it's not a good idea to be jealous or envious of other people if they have something more than you or something different than you do. You know, so for example, you're waiting at the bus stop and a nice Ferrari goes by and you're like, man, I'm not going to get to work for another hour and a half. And if I had that Ferrari, I'd be there in 20 minutes. It's not a good idea to be jealous because everybody gets what they deserve when they deserve it. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve a Ferrari or whatever it is, you know. It's just that the timing for you in this moment is not correct. You know, you have to use the law of attraction to get that which you want, but you have to let go and shake free of all the negative emotions. And jealousy, as we learned when we did the emotion calibration, remember the episode I did on the frequency vibrations of emotions. If you keep yourself in that jealousy level, you're going to keep yourself in such a low level vibration that you're never going to get what you want. Because that which you want vibrates at a higher level. So the next time you see somebody going by you in a car that you want, or maybe a couple walking down the street holding hands and kissing each other and you're single and bitter about it, or the next time you drive through a beautiful neighborhood with homes that are to die for and you're still in the projects, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're in a nice apartment, but you want to own your own home. Whatever the situation is. Maybe you're at work and you get passed over for a promotion again. You know, whatever it is, be grateful that that is an example in your world for two reasons. One, it gives you something to work towards. And two, you're seeing it because it very may well be the case that you drew it to you because your high vibrations have drawn at least that scenario. So don't go into it an emotional tailspin and be angry or bitter or jealous or envious that it's happening to somebody else and not you in this moment. Be grateful instead. Be grateful with an attitude of gratitude, which is a very high, very vibrational state of being, gratitude. Be grateful. Oh my gosh, you know what? You're putting this hot couple in front of me and they're making out and they can't keep their hands all over each other or you know, from touching. They can't keep from touching each other is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Anyway, you see this and you're like, oh, that means it's on its way to me. Look what I drew to me. You know, there's 24 hours in a day, and during these 5 minutes, they're sitting on that bench right when I happen to walk by. It's a sign that that is coming to you. If instead you feel grateful that it's in your field of awareness. Everything that happens in your life, you can take one of two ways. You could go the negative route, or you can reframe it and put it in an extremely positive frame, in a very, very beautiful picture in your mind. Oh, wow, look at that Ferrari. How cool is that? That means, boom, my hot car is on its way too. Did you hear that? All right, right on time, baby. I love the synchronicities. I love when those synchronicities happen. Did you hear that car right when I said that and he honked right in front of the building? That was freaking hilarious. Yeah. I just found out today you could actually buy a car and order a car from Europe to be delivered anywhere on the planet using Bitcoin. And you don't have to keep selling teeny tiny bits of Bitcoin and then transfer it all over to your bank account and fill out all the paperwork from Homeland Security and all that, and have, risk your account being frozen and all that. You just send the Bitcoin to the auto manufacturer over there and boom. I think it's called autobitcoin.com. So in case you guys are into crypto and you want to buy a car, that was some pretty cool news. I'm like, technology is just moving right along. That's pretty cool. So say you did an investment using Bitcoin and then you made a lot of money and you want to buy a car. Why make all those little transactions and trades just to make it so that you have, a bunch of money coming in like a million different transactions? Why not make one transaction, buy your car? I'm not saying avoid taxes. Never, ever, ever avoid taxes, because that will come back and bite you on the axis. It's definitely going to bite you in the ass, so don't do that. But it makes it easier. It makes life a little bit easier. I'm just waiting for them to come up with a way to do that with a house, The more Bitcoin I make and buy, the more I realize, because every time it goes up, it's like, oh yeah, you buy one, well, not even one Bitcoin, you buy 10% of one right now is $1,000, and they're saying in the next month it might go up to 20. You just double your money, I'm all, hey, that's pretty cool. But I'm not to the point where I could buy a car quite this moment, but I don't know. All of it's very exciting. It's a whole nother route to go about, There's something to know about and see what happens. So anyway, yeah, Divine just wanted me to talk to you guys about jealousy. Someone out there, and you know who you are. You're the one that sparked this. Myself, I'm not really jealous of other people. I'm just grateful. All the people that I've known in my life who are very wealthy, I'm so grateful to know them, because I've learned lessons from every single one of them. And so, like my aunt who came from nothing, a lot of the people I know that are really wealthy came from abject poverty. Really, really dire straits type circumstances. So, a lot of times that becomes your driver, you know what I mean? So if you see somebody who's living high on the hog and you might want to think about it, maybe even ask them, because they probably will tell you about a time in which they were, living low around the ham hocks, right? So it's just, you don't know what someone's story is. And people that are born with the silver spoon in their mouth, they have a whole nother set of circumstances. And most of the people that are born super wealthy, it's their last life. They probably had a whole boatload of really crappy lives first. And maybe they deserve that. Finally, they get that kind of a lifestyle first. Last, finally. People who are famous, most movie stars are in their last life. It's something that they earned. Believe you me, they earned it, even though you could look at their life and go, oh, well, she didn't earn that, or he didn't really earn that. He's not even a good actor, but God, he's getting all this money. You know what? Don't be jealous of that, and don't even judge them, because you know what? They have their own set of circumstances that they have to deal with. Imagine having all that money and all that fame, and you can't step 1 foot outside your house without 20 people taking your picture. You have no privacy. Every move you make, I mean, you turn your head just one way and your cheek looks a little fat, and then they extort it. You know, they make it look uglier, and now you have all these ugly pictures of you everywhere. I mean, that would suck, dude. That would totally suck. But I'm getting in shape and losing weight just in case with the keto diet. Because what if my guy is famous and I end up in the spotlight? You know, I would put up with that kind of a sacrifice for him, absolutely. If that's what my twin flame is famous, in 2 seconds I would be there for him in that way. But I'm getting ready just in case, because you never know. And plus, at the end, after I'm in shape, I'll be in shape, so hey. Anyway, so I wanted to mention this yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to. I was abducted again, not last night, but the night before. I woke up in the morning really weird and like mentally disheveled. And when I woke up, I was curled up into a fetal position on top of my covers across my pillows. And when I woke up, I started shivering and I started shaking like I had been through, I don't even know what, like I had been through something really intense. Like when I gave birth the first time, it was a 26-hour labor. I mean, to the very minute, to the second, it was a 26-hour labor. It wasn't 26 hours and 1 minute. I literally, like, my water broke at 8:40, and at 10:40, 26 hours later, I delivered my baby. And at the end of that intense labor, I was shaking uncontrollably. And I'm like, what the hell is happening to me? Like, I was going into some kind of convulsion. And they said that happens a lot when you've depleted your minerals in your body, because your body starts to shake. And they had to get me like an electrolyte drink, like a Pedialyte. They said it happens because you're expending so much energy to give birth, right? So every now and again, I get this weird shaky thing, you know, has happened. But when I get abducted, it happens. I have no idea what the hell, who abducted me. It wasn't like my normal beings that come to visit me. The Arcturians, they don't abduct people. Obviously, the Andromedans, they'll come and take me to their homeworld, but it's not like an abduction. And when I woke up, I felt like I smelled like a man's cologne on me. Like I was abducted, and like I think I was forced to mate, like to like have sex with I don't know who, because I mean I have no recollection, obviously. And I think it's the gray aliens, the ones that are doing all the experiments on the reproductive system. And I don't think that they mean me harm. It's just I feel like they're scientists, or maybe they just see it's been a while for me. I don't know. But it's so disturbing. And it's happened to me since I was 3 years old that I've been taken. And then when I was a teenager, I think is when the sexual thing started happening. When I was an adult, that part started happening. And it's just freaky. It's like you just don't feel like you're your own person, and you don't have control over your own body. And I don't know. It was just a freaky thing though yesterday, just waking up in the morning, and I was in so much pain. I felt like I'd been like doing something all night that I woke up not only in physical pain, because I was in a fetal position and cold, and it crossed my pillows, which is so insane. It's like they don't, I mean, out of the, decades they've been abducting humans, they don't know how to put us back in bed. At the very least. I mean, when I was in my early 20s, they replaced me back. I was sleeping on my couch. I'd fallen asleep on my couch, and they came to abduct me. And I was wearing a nightgown. When I woke up, I was on top of my covers with my nightgown inside out. And my feet were like damp, like I'd been walking in grass. I'm like, what the hell? You know, it's like they don't know how to dress us. They don't know how to put us in bed. They don't, you know, if they really don't want us to know this happened, you'd think they would learn this very basic skill. I don't know. It's just a really I don't know why I'm mentioning it, to be honest, but it's just one of those weird things. It's like if it is happening to you, you're not alone, right? And I know I sound crazy, but there's hundreds of thousands of people who've been abducted, and hundreds of thousands of people have come forward. They have like filled out reports. You know, it's not like one of those things where 20 years ago, you know, you just be labeled a schizophrenic or something and put to the wayside because now you're like shunned. You know, shunning. Yay, like Gail the snail with the salt. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys get that reference? From It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But, oh my God. I don't know. It was like a weird day. It was a weird day yesterday. It was a good day, after I left the house, but in the morning it was just, that part was weird. And so, I hesitated to go to bed, and I wasn't in bed till like 5 or something in the morning because I was just like, I couldn't sleep. I was getting kind of upset and getting stressed out, and I just ate marshmallows. I never should have eaten marshmallows, but my son brought home ice cream and marshmallows and nuts, and I ate a lot of walnuts, which is okay in the keto. So I've broken the keto diet a little bit yesterday and a little bit today, again with the stress. And I'm like, ugh. So tomorrow I get a whole new shipment of keto meals delivered, and I'm grateful for that because I'll get right back on track. But even with like eating off the diet a little bit yesterday and a little bit today, I ate a steak yesterday, and that's completely on the ketone. I drank a bunch of wheatgrass juice, like a huge glass of wheatgrass juice from the wheatgrass powder. And I mean, I just feel like I feel like I lost 5 pounds since yesterday. I feel empty in my stomach region. I don't know how to explain that. Like, obviously, I'm not saying I'm hungry. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a weird empty feeling. And my whole body has had this buzzing thing, and I don't think this is the keto thing. There's an Ascension symptom that started maybe like a year ago, but it's not a very common one, and it started, so if this is happening for you, and it's definitely happening for me, then, it's just what it is Ascension. But I keep getting this buzzing feeling, and it feels like there's a cell phone, a little tiny cell phone inside my bones. Like my bones start to vibrate, and it's like zzz, 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 like that. Almost like there's, like a swarm of bees in my bones, or a cell phone or something. And it's so freaky. It's like, why? Why is this happening? And it almost sometimes feels like growing pains in my legs. In my limbs, mostly my legs. I hope I'm getting taller. That'd be awesome. But that this vibrational stuff was before in my arms, my leg, limbs. Lately, though, I felt it in my ribs, and it's such a freaky feeling. When your breastbone that's right over your heart, your breastplate starts to vibrate. And it's not just like, I have high vibes, dude, and not really, it's like a physical vibration. It's not like, yeah, I'm feeling high vibe, I'm just so happy today. It's not like an emotional vibration, if that makes sense. It's like a scientific, probably measurable, physical vibration. The way you feel, like if you sit in a car and the stereo's on and it's too loud, and there's that bass thumping through your body, or if you're at a club and you feel that music just boom, 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 and it's thumping through your body. It's like that, but it's so rapid fire fast. It's like, zzz, just like that, like it's kind of disturbing. It's been happening. It's happened in the bones in my neck and in my ribs and in my spine a little bit. Still in my limbs also, but it's like kind of freaking me out a little bit more because it's in my torso region and not my limb region. And so then I'm wondering like what's going on with my organs. And I've noticed that I've been getting this heat, energy, electrical energy style heat that's, it's like a hot flash, but it's not like a hormonal hot flash. It's like all of a sudden I'm aware that all of this energy, almost like a 19.5 degrees type energy, is pouring through each individual cell in my body. And then I start to become aware of the spaces between my molecules in my body. And then there's like a sense of swirling energy, swirling motions, almost like chakra swirling, but it's throughout all of my cells inside my internal organs. So it's like this hot, swirly energy. I know it sounds crazy, guys, but if you're going through this too, then it must be an ascension symptom, right? So let's see here. I forgot. You just heard that, right? I just got an email, yay, from Sandra Lynn. She was the person who gave me my Reiki, and that's so cool. I just referred my friend Kyle to her. Just to go get some Reiki, and I think she's also a masseuse. And so, if you guys live anywhere near Chico, California, and you want someone to do Reiki and massage on you, she's the person. Plus, she knows contact me, and she will set you up with whatever you need. She works for a spa, and she knows a lot of healers. So whatever kind of healing you need or want, she's the one. I also have a really good hypnotherapist in Chico, so who's freaking amazing person. And he approached me to see if I wanted to be his client. And then when he found out I'd been a hypnotherapist for a lot longer than him from the same school, he was like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing. And so we became really good friends. Anyway, so I don't know, she wrote me right now, so I figure, maybe somebody in that area that needs, especially anyone who went through the Paradise Fire, they might need some help over there. So I don't know, yesterday was weird, but today was different, guys. So around 5 or 6, I was in bed and I was still awake and I was trying to relax and I was having a hard time with it. And then I just took a deep breath and I remembered that it's Mother Mary's birthday. So wherever you are, Mother Mary, we love you and happy birthday. And I mean the mother of Brother Yeshua, the mother of Jesus, Mary. The Catholic Church somehow figured out that this today is her birthday, which is pretty darn cool, actually. But so I remembered that, and then that gave me a great deal of comfort. I felt like, and I told her, hey, happy birthday, Mary, and Mother Mary, and I felt like she was with me. And then I looked outside, and the whole sky turned the most beautiful, pale, baby pink, like baby shell, like seashells, baby shell pink. Just a very, very, very pale, sweet color pink. And all of a sudden this energy washed over me of just everything's going to be okay. Everything's fine. We are 100% loved and supported. And I felt like Mother Mary was responsible for this energy somehow. Like she surrounded the planet with her love and light and her pink energy. And then after a while, the whole sky turned sepia, like an old-fashioned photograph. And I could just see like a sliver of the sky. My curtain was only open like about 2 inches. And the whole world looked like sepia. And I was like, that is freaking cool. So it was kind of like a golden light right after the pink light. So I went to sleep finally, and I woke up just like 5 or 6 hours later. And when I woke up, this sky was just glorious. It was so sunny and so bright, and such an energy of joy and happiness. Such beauty. It was incredible. Like, oh, thank God, we're going to be okay. We're just absolutely going to be okay. And I got this feeling of we're okay. Everything's okay. We're going to be okay. Everything is going to work out in the end. And what the hell were we ever even worried about? That was the energy and the feeling I was getting. Why were we worried? Oh yeah, wait, we're pretending we're worried. We're pretending we're not God. We're pretending we're not connected and that we don't know everybody else. Of course we know everybody else. I mean, it's kind of freaky when somebody you don't know comes up to you and starts acting all familiar, right? But I do that to people all the time because I feel like I do know them. And I feel like if I don't remember them in this moment, it doesn't mean that I don't know them in heaven. And I feel like we all know each other. And the planet is way smaller than you imagine it is, because like you could meet somebody online that's in one country, and then 2-3 years later you meet them in a third country, you know. Like, I think I told you guys the story about this guy that I knew from Tagged. It's just a social site. It's not, some people use it for dating. I don't, but it's like a place you can just go and meet new people. That's really just their line for their logo says, you know, a nice place or a great place to meet new people. That's it. And so, or to make new friends, something like that. Sorry, flubbing the logo, but whatever. It's not a paid commercial. But I got on this website. A friend of mine told me to join it for networking, because you could do it for business and networking also. So, and that's like totally allowed. So I'm like, all right. So I'm on this website, and I mean, like 6 years ago or something, this guy was like, oh, you're so beautiful, la la la. I'm like, look, I don't want to date you, but let's just be friends. He's like, all right, that's cool. I can accept that. So we became friends, and he was in Morocco, and he's like, how do I get to your country? Like, I don't know. I left my country. I'm living in Mexico. You know what I mean? Or I was looking, actually, at that point, I was living in Guatemala. I'm like, no, I'm like living in Guatemala. I mean, I don't know. In fact, that's not true. When I first met him, I was in California, and I was thinking about getting married to my friend's brother and moving to New Zealand to be with him. I mean, it was getting pretty serious. It was just online, our relationship. So it was still like, we were like, well, let's get together and we will commit 6 months together, and then we will find out from there if we truly want to marry. I don't want to just like show up and be mail order bride person. But I mean, I'd found a radio station that needed a talk show host. I mean, I was lining up everything. In fact, I just got a message from the New Zealand government just like a week ago asking me if I have thought about coming and becoming an immigrant. They're still inviting me after like 6 years. You know, every now and again I hear from the government. They're so sweet. They're like so welcoming and warm and sweet. Anyway, so back then I was like in California. This is like 6 years ago. And he was in Morocco, and then I guess he just stopped using the website. You know, he just got busy with his own world, his own life, whatever. And, you know, things happen. So, and I was on, you know, like I'll get on this website and I'll answer everyone's emails for 2 or 3 days in a row. And then I ghost for another 3 to 6 months because I get busy. And then I come back and, hey, sorry, it took me forever. How are you doing? So I've had these weird online relationships with people from all walks of life. You know, people that are working in the auto factories in Detroit, people that are like jazz musicians. You know, when I lived in Detroit, I actually met several of these people in person. You know, just go out and have an ice cream, just hang out and talk, you know. just to make friends. One guy was a single father, and he wanted to, just talk about what life is like in Detroit as a single parent, So we had a lot of conversations, and one of the people came over and fixed my plumbing, So I got to know some people, and actually I started meeting people from this website, and some of the people are weird and scammers, and, I filtered those people out right away, but some of the people are quality people. Well, this guy, I was in Mexico and he was in Morocco, and I don't know, I think he somehow used the law of attraction to meet me, even though he ended up moving to Detroit and he married a woman there. And that's how he got from Morocco. And he was living in Detroit. Well, when he moved there, apparently I wasn't even thinking about Detroit. And then it just, one thing led to another. And my oldest kid ended up having a very best friend that lived in Detroit and had convinced us to move there. So we're like, you know what, let's go buy a house there, $9,000 house. We'll live there for a while. If we don't like it, we'll sell the house. If we love it, we'll stay. And we loved it. We wanted to stay, but, circumstances, happened. Crap happened. So we ended up moving. I still have the house. I could go live there again if I want. But anyway, I ended up breaking my leg. And while I was laying in bed with a broken leg, I was bored and went back to this website. I hadn't been there in like a year or something. And sure enough, he hadn't been on that website in a couple years either. And then he just was like, oh my God, do you remember me? I was in Morocco and now I live in Detroit. I'm like, no way, I live in Detroit. I can't believe that. And he's like, what's up? And I'm like, well, I'm not doing much. I broke my leg. And he goes, you're not going to believe this. I literally work for a place that has wheelchairs. I literally give medical supplies to people all day long. It's what I do. My job is to deliver medical supplies. And it's my wife's business. I'm like, no way. How bizarre is that? So then he shows up and gave me a $1,500 wheelchair for absolutely free. Because, I told him back in the day, I'll pray for you, that you meet your goals and your dreams. And he did. Living in my country, and Detroit was his goal, and it was his dream. It's so bizarre, though. So the world works in the weirdest and most mysterious of ways. And anyway, I don't really know what the point of this was, but I wanted to let you guys know, whatever, someone out there needs to hear this story. So it's just, if you want something really bad and you don't see how it's going to happen, it's going to happen if it's supposed to or not. Another person that I had when I lived in Mexico, I had been talking to, who he also was from another country, and I can't remember what country he was from. I think India. And I went to the Gay Pride Parade, and he was selling hot dogs there in Detroit. Unbelievable! Like, what? He wrote to me and he goes, "I can't believe it's you." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I knew it was you. I when I saw you today." Like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, it was me. I know you from Tagged. And remember, I used to live in India, but now I live in Detroit. I'm like, what the hell? It's like Detroit's like this meeting center, It's like one of the meeting centers, I don't know. There's something weird with Detroit. I don't understand what it is exactly. But I think that there's a lot of karma stuff, like good karma. This stuff happens there. There's some bad karma stuff that happens there, but there's some good stuff too. It's one of those strange cities that just has a lot of, like, you're either riding high on a very high there or riding low on a very low there. There are some super bad neighborhoods, very scary, dangerous places. But at the same time, there's just the sweetest, most amazing people. Friendly, open, smiling all the time. Not what I expected, just to be honest, not at all what I expected when I got there. And I was more than pleasantly surprised. And the art and the architecture, and oh my God, what a beautiful city. Nothing. I thought it was going to be old burned out buildings and shut down factories and debris and homeless people everywhere and, having to dodge and duck bullets. That's the way that Detroit had been presented in the media for me. And so when I got there, I was like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of gunshots going off. A lot of gunshots. But And even now it's even less, but overall though, there was an edginess to the city, like you don't want to be out after night in the wrong neighborhood type of edginess, even in the daytime in some neighborhoods. But at the same time, I was meeting people that wanted to talk and embrace me and just be like so chatty and happy and friendly and, welcome to my city. I love it here. I grew up here. I'll never want to leave. This is the best place on earth. Not what I expected. Not at all what I expected. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this, just to be honest, but, no matter what it is, it's going to come to you. It's going to come to you no matter what, right? It's like if you're meant to have that one thing that you need, it's coming to you. Like for me, to get the free wheelchair from the leg I haven't broken yet, I had to make this contact with this guy 6 years in advance or whatever, or 3-4 years in advance. It's bizarre, right? It's so bizarre. All of it's just to me so strange. Anyway, Schumann Resonance news today, disclosurenews.it, 23 hertz, that was it, over there in Italy. They said, even today, looking at the chart, one's got the feeling that the activity in the last 4 days is gradually decreasing. And today the movements lasted for 6 hours, from 6 to 12. The maximum peak was at 23 hertz at 7 UTC. And all they have on this website is the evening report. So, hey, all right, that's cool. As far as our 6 cities that we always look at, California was at 100, and that's not a city, I know. I say that, and it's like, it says California. It's funny that it doesn't say, like, what city in California, but anyway, California is 162 hertz frequency at midnight, and by 4 a.m. they were down to 160. And in Hafuf, Saudi Arabia, they were at 114 hertz frequency at midnight, and they went up to just 116 by 4 a.m. In Lithuania, they were at 199 at midnight, but by 4 a.m., same thing. They just stayed exactly 199. They went up to 200 briefly at 1 o'clock in the morning, but that was it, So now Alberta, Canada, they started off at 224 hertz frequency at midnight and went down to 217 by 4 a.m. And as far as Northland, New Zealand, Northland, 270, let's see, I was going to say 274, but that was actually last night. Sorry. At midnight, they started off at 286 hertz frequency, and they're the ones that went way up. They went up to 314 hertz frequency by 4 a.m. And as far as Hulului, South Africa, they're just the same. 0. All the way across 0. I honestly think that the monitoring station, something happened to it. All right, we are starting a brand new lesson tonight, which is awesome. Lesson 91 in A Course in Miracles, acim.org, is where you can find all the lessons for absolutely free. And if you don't want to read them, they can be read to you. There's a little tab for that. Lesson 91 is miracles are seen in light. Miracles are seen in light. So it is important to remember that miracles and vision necessarily go together. This needs repeating and frequent repeating. It is a central idea in your new thought system and the perception that it produces. The miracle is always there. Its presence is not caused by your vision. Its absence is not the result of your failure to see. It is only your awareness of miracles that is affected. You will see them in the light. You will not see them in the dark. So later on it goes on. This is a pretty big lesson, so if you want to read it for yourself, again, it's lesson 91 in A Course in Miracles. You could download an app. It's free, of course. And it just says, miracles are seen in light. The body's eyes do not perceive the light. But I am not a body. What am I? And then later it goes on to say, I am not weak, but strong. I am not helpless, but all-powerful. I am not limited, but unlimited. I am not doubtful, but certain. I am not an illusion, but a reality. I cannot see in darkness, but in light. Miracles are seen in light. Let me not close my eyes because of this. Miracles are seen in light. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the chakras. We already talked about all 7 chakras, and we wrapped that up last week, but I'm going to attempt to find resources on the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th chakra. I don't know if this is going to be today only, or today and next week, or the next 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know what I'm going to find. I have been researching this for a couple weeks now, and it's been relatively hard to come by the information that gels with all the other information. There's so many people with misconceptions about what this could or couldn't be. So I don't really know what is true. So I'm going to do muscle testing, and I'm going to see what's what as far as what Prime Creator says about what I read, if that makes any sense. So we're going to go over the 8th chakra today, and that's all I can tell you. But hopefully we'll be able to do like maybe 8 and 9 or 8, 9, and 10. Honestly, I have no idea. But we're going to continue with the external chakras right after this message. If you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts, and you probably like music too. Long walks on the beach, romantic dancing under the stars, and oh wait, we're not doing that right now. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free, and you don't even need a premium account, which is cool. Free is always good. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, including your long romantic walks on the beach. Also, one thing I love about Spotify is that you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with the social platforms like Instagram. So that makes it really, really versatile. Just search for Metaphysical Soul Speak on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me, of course, don't forget, so that you'll never again miss an episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak. Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service, and now it can be your go-to for podcasts too. Thank you guys so much for supporting Metaphysical Soul Speak on Spotify. Do you ever wish you could look into the next chapter in your book of life and see what's coming next? What does the universe have in store for you? I can help you with that. I will give you a Celtic cross reading, which is 10 cards. Or you can ask me 3 questions, and I use 3 cards per question. So that's 9 cards. Or I can channel your higher guidance, or maybe God directly for you. Maybe you want to talk to your dear departed Aunt Edna, because maybe you have a few questions and she was the smartest person you knew. If your deceased relatives are available, or your ascended masters, I can channel them for you personally. Let me have 1 hour to show you the future in your next chapter of your book of life. Readings are $75, and it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to complete. And for this price, you will also be hooked up to the healing grid around the planet for free, which means yours truly, me, I will be giving you Reiki 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. All you have to do is let me know. metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com, and we will explore your future together. All right, guys, we're going to start with the 8th chakra, and some of the information is going to be a little conflictual because not a lot that I can understand has actually been written about it. Maybe in India, there's probably some old Sanskrit texts that talk about this, but for the most part, I'm going to give you what I've found on the best websites I was able to locate, and also I'm going to tell you what Divine tells me about the 8th chakra. Now, most websites say it's between 2 to 3 feet above your head. It's in your aura. It's not in your body. Some people say it's a few inches above your crown chakra or a few inches above your head. I mean, and even that is conflictual. So I asked Divine, and this is what he told me. It's different for every person because it depends on how long your arms are. So if you take your arms and you put them directly above your head and put them like in a prayer position above your head, and stretch them as far as you can, then the tips of your fingers would be about the center of your 8th chakra. So if you have super long arms, maybe it's 3 feet above your head. And if your arms aren't all that long, maybe it's 2 feet. So that's like where it's located. And then there's a bunch of complicated, I was looking through this, and people have a bunch of different complicated ways to find it spiritually, and, imagine a volcano exploding, and it's just like insane kind of meditations. I found a bunch of them. It's like, okay, look, this is the simplest way I could say. Sit in silence, keep your back as straight as possible. If you have a natural curve of your spine, don't beat yourself up or be upset about it. It's just, it is what it is. You can still locate your chakras. Don't panic. Sit either in a chair with your back against the back of the chair, or you could sit, cross-legged. I always sit cross-legged on my bed. Even if I go to restaurants, I'm always sitting cross-legged because I'm not very tall, and it hurts my back to put my feet on the floor because it kind of puts my back in a weird position. Because most things are like, I think most furniture, honestly, is tailor-made for men that are 6 feet tall. And so women who are shorter always have back problems. And that's why a lot of women wear high heels, because it keeps your feet up. You put your back in a good position. Anyway, it's just some weird observational things. I think that men make furniture for men. And if women suffer and men don't care or don't think about it, we're not considered. But enough of the feminist diatribe for right now. I have, though, actually, when I was in Guatemala, because the people are smaller, I fit in the furniture. They're perfect. I was like, oh my God. Just like when I went to Chinatown in San Francisco, I found pants that fit me perfect. They weren't like a mile too long. They were just exactly perfect, because Chinese women tend to be shorter. And so the clothes are shorter too. And I'm like, aw, I'm like secretly Chinese. Nobody knows though. But anyway, back to the 8th chakra. What I am understanding is that something that Divine told me that I have not found on any website is that when you have been born into a family with hereditary witchcraft and hereditary magic, but even if it's skipped a couple generations, it doesn't matter, because all right, he's telling me right now, all right, all of the spells, incantations, charms, all of the magic and the power of that from your ancestral familial line is stored in your 8th chakra. So when you open it up, you could come back into your magic power and start opening up your world to magic in a new way. And I think you guys heard me when I was about coming into that realization. I think it was maybe in February of this year that I started going, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. I just realized a couple of generations ago, we were Irish witches, and we were like hereditary magicians. And I started feeling it from the Cherokee side as well as the Irish side. And it never occurred to me. I just felt like, why am I so interested in witchcraft? It's something that's always been like, been interested in it. And I've never wanted to manipulate other people. I just wanted to basically just protect myself, surround myself with white light, and maybe send healing to people once in a while, or positive energy out into the world. You know, I never used it for bad. I was Samantha, the good witch, you know. Remember Bewitched? Oh, I love that show. I don't know why I always felt like that was relevant to my life, which is hilarious, because that kind of magic, TV movie magic, is not really actually how things work. But for some reason, I always felt like, yeah, well, that's me. That's my family. Somehow that's my family. But I always thought maybe it was wishful thinking. And I grew up later. I'm like, well, everybody wants that, obviously. But I think the people that are most attracted to it actually are hereditary witches and don't know it yet. I mean, when you go back far enough, probably we all are, actually. But I came into the realization of it in about around February of this year. And Divine told me that you become more aware of it, and you become more aware of your elements and what you're supposed to be working with and what you were born to do, magically speaking. Whether you're a weather witch and you can control the weather, or, fire witch. And I mean, I've met people who have claimed to me that with their mind, they can light a candle. It's pretty cool. I mean, I've got a friend who can throw fireballs. Kind of crazy like stuff, but I have heard stories about it. I have heard stories. So when you open up your 8th chakra, you open yourself up more to the magic, and then you start to see how it works in your life. So, okay, now I'm going to go over what it says on some of these websites. All right, so on mindvalley.com or blog.mindvalley.com, they talk about, in this article about the 8th chakra, it says Deborah King is the author of Mind Valley's Be a Modern Master program, which now I'm super interested in and want to know all about it. She says the 8th chakra is located a foot or two above your head, above your crown chakra. It's the chakra of divine love and spiritual compassion. It also holds all of your habitual patterns of energy that you have clung to lifetime after lifetime. Well, I know that we do actually, we have like one thing that we kind of work on again and again and again throughout all of our lifetimes. Like, I know that the husband that I had children with in this life, in every lifetime we'd ever been together, we were always a couple, and we were always trying to get to the marriage and children part. And because he was a hothead, he would always go off and get himself killed every lifetime. And we never had kids until this lifetime. And we had been together in France and in England and all kinds of lives. I think we were natives at one life, one or two different tribes, a couple different times. We were together, definitely in Lakota Sioux. We did a yoga workshop once, a breathing yoga workshop, where I ended up speaking fluent Sioux for like an hour, and I couldn't remember English. and I was crying uncontrollably. I was unconsolable because of the pain I had harbored over losing him in that life, because we had gotten married, and next thing I know, he was dead. And I was sending his wedding moccasins on a little raft that I had to craft. And that was like in our tribal ways. We had to put the objects that meant the most to us about that person. And for me, it was his wedding moccasins, because we had finally gotten married. And so I put that on the little raft, and I was allowed to grieve for as long as that little raft went down the river. And as soon as it went out of sight, then I had to stop crying about it and come home. That's what the chief, his father was a chief of the tribe, told me. So, but like I carried that grief over. And I think that when she says that it holds your habitual patterns of energy that you clung to, I think it's grief as well. But it's like lifetime over lifetimes grief. It was very painful to be in love with somebody over so many different lifetimes and never be able to complete the love cycle. Like getting married, having children, growing old together. We didn't even grow old together this time. But I told him I'm done. I'm like so done with you because, we were married. We were together 13 years. We had our children. I mean, I'm just going to call it quits. I'm not going to try to come back and hope to God that, we make it to the old age part. Just screw it. I'm like over it. It's like, so I think I broke that habitual pattern. But there's that divine love and spiritual compassion. And let's see, what else does it say? I know that the eighth chakra, it's like once it opens up, it's like this golden white light. It's gold and white mixed. And it's like, it channels a little bit into the seventh chakra. So when you start to meditate and you start to open that up. But I've noticed that when mine opened up just this year, that I feel a lot more like I'm definitely ascending. I'm definitely able to let go of a lot more crap from my past, right? And I'm able to look out over a sea of people and love every one of them. And I've been able to have spiritual insights about everyone and everything around me a lot deeper, more profound, and I'm having constant communication and communion with God. And it's been that way for a couple of years, but just this year, it really opened up in a big way. So it says when you open the eighth chakra, according to Mind Valley, you become instantly more spiritually aware, and you have the opportunity to connect with your higher self. And the chakras hold the secrets to how you feel about yourself and about the world, says Deborah King. They indicate how you get along with other people, the health of your body, your financial situation, how you make decisions, spiritual advancements, and access to your spiritual gifts. So that's a lot, especially for something you can't see, right? So according to her, the eighth chakra is gold, and the element is the soul. And then on the Mind Valley blog, you can look at, there's like meditations to open it up. I think just breathing and breathing energy into that chakra would probably be just as good as any other thing. Simple as well. Okay, now on Divinity Magazine, they have some really interesting things to say. They call the 8th chakra the Soul Star Chakra. And I told you guys that if you connect to the star grid, you do it through your 8th chakra. So if you meditate and you focus on your 8th chakra and you say, hey, I'd like to open up my 8th chakra and I'd like to use that to jump to the star grid. And I've been there, and it's like a place that, I don't know, it looks like, have you ever seen the hologram program, the holo program on the holodeck in Star Trek Voyager, where they walk in and it's like a black room and it has like golden lines, like grids. And then they say whatever program they're going to run, and all of a sudden it turns into the room or the place that they want to be in. And that's kind of what it looked like when I went there. And I've gone there a couple times, and I've hooked up to that and ended up talking to people from other parts of the planet that are ascending, and they're aware of it, and they're like hanging out. And I've seen like places with like up there with couches, like lounge. Like I created a little section where there was like a purple couch and big, huge like palm trees. And I'm just kind of hanging out there. And I was like, I kind of made it like bohemian style. So you could go up there and create whatever you want, and then you could go hang out with people. But it's like virtual reality, but it's like reality. But that's where the 8th chakra will take you. It'll take you there. So it says here, according to Divinity Magazine, that the 8th chakra, known as the Soul Star, is located 2 feet above the crown chakra. So I told you guys, like, all the information is a little, like, it's nebulous a little bit, like the Soul Star Chakra. So with the 8th chakra, we enter the realms transcending time and space. The energy center is said to open access to parallel universes and lives. And remember, a lot of us have been experiencing the Mandela effect, parallel time jumps, timeline jumps, time loops, time warps. Like a time loop is when you live a day over again, or a part of a day, and you're like, crap, I had this exact day like last Thursday, so what the hell? It's the same exact day. And the other people around you don't remember it, and it just feels like a time loop, like you're going like a Groundhog Day moment. I've had time warps where time sped up, like 3 hours passed in 10 minutes. And then I've had it where the opposite, where like 10 minutes have passed only, but it felt like 3 freaking hours. You know, time warps, time loops. I've been timeline hopping. I remember things from other timelines. I remember things that happened, and I've had several episodes about this where I talked about this. So all of this, when your 8th chakra comes online, when it's activated, you start becoming aware of all this crap. All this stuff was happening before, but you're not aware of it. When your 8th chakra opens up, boom, you're aware of it. So it gives access to the realm of the Akashic records. And that, again, is the hereditary magic for some of you. And just all of the personalities you had before, and the timeline, or I mean, not timeline, but the theme, lifetime issues, themes. So Akashic Records, sphere of potentialities in the making. It is a useful center for shamanic healing and communication with spirit guides. So probably this is why I've had an explosion lately of, well, communication with all these beings that just suddenly pop in, and now they're in my room, and now we have a conversation, and oh my God. And by the way, the Arcturians, they want to talk to us soon through me, so probably tomorrow we'll probably try to do that. We'll see if they want to talk tomorrow. I think they said something about wanting to talk to us about health and vitality, so we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow if they come back. I told them, no, but it's Chakra Day. And they're like, okay, fine, tomorrow. I'm like, all right. If it's like a big emergency, they will pop in, but they're not in my room right now. So it was probably just general information versus emergency communication, right? Anyway, this energy center, the 8th chakra, is one of divine love, spiritual compassion, and spiritual selflessness. Also has and contains your karmic residue. and activates your spiritual skills. That's contained in the 7th crown chakra. What's a spiritual skill? Well, probably popping in and out of existence, going invisible, being able to bilocate, being able to like literally leave your body and create a new body on another planet would be one thing. Sending healing energy or healing vibration to somebody and they feel it and they get healed. Communicating telepathically with beings, including animals. I was a pigeon whisperer this morning. The baby pigeon was screaming his little lungs out, and I could tell that Fred Mertz, my neighbor pigeon, was really upset. He's getting kind of stressed out. So I opened the window and I started talking to the little baby, and he was fascinated by me. And so he stopped screaming. And then when he started screaming again, I started whistling at the same tune. Well, I don't know. I'm tone deaf, but but I started to my very best ability. I whistled at the same. And then he stopped, and Fred just hopped really close to me and just kind of gave me this look of, thank God, thank you. Like I relieved him, for like 20 minutes where, having like a baby constantly crying in your face when you're a parent, and whether you're human or a pigeon, it's probably got to be stressful for pigeons too. So anyway, this opening this energy is like the spiritual compassion, and it's an energy transference chakra. It can help you take energy from the world, other people, plants, animals, and it will operate like a step down or a step up transformer. That's what it says here on Divinity Magazine. Very interesting, right? So it says the Omega transfers energy from outside the body to inside, increasing or decreasing as necessary to stimulate energy glow and release your blocks. That would make complete sense, right? Since we are in Ascension, this is the thing that we're all doing, right? We're all like dealing with our emotional crap. So this makes sense. So, it says the energy patterns you've held on to for more than one lifetime. Well, when this begins to open up and expand, a new spiritual awareness begins to take shape. And you sense yourself as a larger community of people. And it says that this chakra is a gateway to other ideas, concepts, and abilities. And you can achieve out-of-body projection, spiritual perception, and spiritual wisdom. See, they didn't think about all the things I just mentioned, like, timeline hopping and bilocation and things that I think I've opened this up before, and then it's like been like open sometimes and closed sometimes. I mean, I bilocated when I was in college, and I scared a group of people because I was at home, but I was also somewhere else. And then when I denied it, they were freaked out, and I'm like, no, I was never there. Apparently I was. I bilocated. I mean, how else would they know all of the stuff that they knew about me? They knew so much stuff about me that I would have normally talked to someone about, but I'd never met them before in my life. I didn't even go to the party that night. I've talked about this before when the bilocating thing happened to me. And I wonder how many times I have bilocated, since then, but I just never ran into the people that met me at that point. I just said that, and a big white streak of light came from my ceiling just down onto my bed right now. There's someone here, and I don't know. Are you Arcturine? No. Are you one of my dragons? No. Are you my angel? Hi, angel. It's one of my angels. It's my guardian angel. I think that was a confirmation that I have bilocated several times. I just haven't met people that met me. So I think that this chakra is responsible. Like when that's open, that's when you're able to do the more miraculous type things. So it says these abilities and ideas are larger than the self and the earth. They go beyond mundane and concerned with the healing of the planet and the self in regards to the universe and all that is. And the Soul Star Chakra center is a gateway. And by the way, remember, chakra means wheel. I wanted to remind you in case you forgot. It's the gateway to yourself as it expands past the planet. And because of this, the chakra is the last energy center that holds anything human within it. It becomes a temple of human cleansing, the the releasing of patterns that are lifetimes old and obviously outdated. These patterns are the last of what holds you to the reincarnation system and your humanness that keeps you from reuniting with higher powers, beings, and ideas. So, yeah, that makes a whole hell of a lot of sense, right? So it says, when this energy center opens up, you don't only begin to take on an awareness of the larger community of energies, you also begin to shed the patterns that you kept rooted to the planet. So the things that are holding you back, especially like in the 3D, that's so 3D. All the things you could go, oh, that was the 3D me. That wasn't the me. So this is when you start to shed all of this stuff, right? And the shedding is a natural process because once the center's awakened, you're ready to let go of your humanity and grasp something larger, much more wonderful, and infinitely divine. So this is an excellent, I did not know about this website before today, divinitymagazine.com. So it says once you open and have your 8th chakra functioning, your soul star is the center of instant manifestation as a true creator. Wow, you guys, I'm so excited. I can't wait for this to happen, right? I have noticed it though. I pulled something into my field really rapidly just recently. Oh gosh. It was something that, now I can't remember what it was. Was it food? It was something weird that just, it was something mundane, but I thought about it and within 48 hours is here. You know, but that's been happening really fast, like things that I want and then boom, there it is. I've been wanting to get a part-time writing job, and right when I was getting ready to do this today, all of a sudden I ran across an ad that said, depending on your experience, you can make up to $65 an hour as a writer. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course. So I immediately signed up, because why not, you know? Anyway, so stuff like that, whatever you think, and then boom, it's in your energy field. And that's why I was going to say, don't get into that envy, jealous thing, and that's what God wanted me to tell you, because when you start this instant manifestation, the first signs that what you want is coming is that you're going to see other people having it, and that will be coming into your energy field first. And you can ruin your own blessings by dropping back down into the old 3D crap. So you got to stay up there, up, baby. And that's how we're going to manifest every single thing we need and want. So it says that there's karmic ties that need to be released. And the Soul Star Chakra, it stores your karmic lessons so that you can integrate what you need in the current incarnation. Let's see. Yeah, and this is a level where you really start to begin to let go of your ego and get more into your spirit. And you realize you really can let go of the ego, and you don't have to cause it death. You just don't have to pay attention to it anymore. You know, when you're like reaching towards getting up into the crown chakra is when you like, oh, death to the ego. I hate my ego. You know, my oldest kid was like 8 years old when she started saying, I hate my ego. I want to get rid of my ego. I want to be a spiritual master, and this is really making me pissed off. I'm not there yet, and I want to be there. But I have a feeling that my oldest might be like well on his way now. He's a he now. Now I feel like he's really, really, really aware. I think he's opened up his 8th chakra for sure. And he doesn't want to talk about it. I think he's a little bit embarrassed by it when it comes to talking to me about it. But I know, I feel it, you know. You can transcend all of your karma when you're living from the seat of your soul or your 8th chakra. Once you get past your karma, which most of us have now that we're ascending, you have access to more otherworldly, the off-worlders, I call them, and the interdimensional beings of light. And you're going to be more aware of the fairies and the angels around you. And you might even start to see dragons. I've seen a dragon in Peru. And it looked like just a physical dragon, like an actual like a bird flying around, but it was an actual dragon, like the heart-shaped end of its tail and the giant, enormous wings that looked like bat wings. It was incredibly beautiful. It was golden. It was like the color of a golden eagle. It was like brown, and when the sun was shining on it, it was a gold metal dragon, and it looked like a metal dragon made from gold. And I told my oldest, I'm like, holy crap, I just saw a dragon and I'm not even high today. and he says to me so casually, oh yeah, that's my dragon. He's been with me my whole life. I can't believe he let you see him. And I'm like, what? Like, what the hell this is real. This is like been real, but I didn't know. I think my kid just always had the 8th chakra open and was able to see stuff that I couldn't see. And I always believed him, but I think that's something that happens. You could see the otherworldly beings. It says that when you open up the 8th chakra, according to Divinity Magazine, that you're going to have a lot of emotional pain because you're going to start remembering lifetime after lifetime of pain that you have to release. But you're also going to remember your blessings as well. You're going to come into old abilities. Like, what if you played the piano like a master composer in a past life? Suddenly you might know how to play piano, out of nowhere. Like the first time my ex-husband picked up a redwood flute, he picked it up and he started playing it and he started crying and he played it perfect, like as if he was doing a concert. And then he put it down and he stepped back 3 feet away from it, and his whole body was tingling, and he goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And he just like burst out crying, and he's like, how much is a flute? I've got to buy it. And they were like, well, it's $360. Why? And he goes, because you know what? I've never played a flute in my life. And they were like, oh, come on. And he's like, no, that was the first time. And in that moment, his 8th chakra opened up. I don't know if it stayed open, but in that moment, he was just completely in tune with spirit. And then he looked at me and he said, I used to play for God on the banks of the river when we were natives, in that life that you remembered when I was killed. I'm like, yep. Yeah, you did. It was like when he was playing it, it was like I recognized the tune he was playing. So when your soul star opens up, it's like, boom, I have this ability. Holy crap. That's so cool. Maybe you're an artist or a writer or a performer or something. You have like abilities from another life, You've never juggled in your life. Suddenly you know how to juggle. I don't know. I don't know what you do. Only you're going to understand this for yourself when it happens. But you have to let go of all the human ideas about yourself and the planet. And it's shocking at first, and that could be painful when you open up the 8th chakra. But eventually you're going to go, oh my God, I'm a starseed. I'm a star being. I'm from another planet. Well, this is just a vacation. This is the weirdest vacation I've ever been on, but hey. Some people just go to the coast and go swimming in the ocean. Oh, not me. I travel to other planets and live out a karmic cycle of birth, re-death, or re-death, rebirth, re-death, rebirth for millennia. Just, it's just a weird staycation, Oh, God. All right. So it says that the Soul Star Chakra is relating to infinite energy, spirituality, supreme divine wisdom, and spiritual compassion. The phrase for this is I transcend, or you could probably say I ascend. I am ascending, if you want to make that a active affirmation for the 8th chakra. So you have to be able to clear out your past life trauma patterns. Just accept yourself. You know what I mean? Like right before my 8th chakra was fully opened, my son gave me a gun for Christmas. It was not just any gun, though. It's a pirate musket, And when I opened it and I looked at it and I wrapped my arms around it and I kissed it, and he's like, what? And I went, "Ay, bigora, it's me bonny lass." And he's like, what? I go, "It's me bonny lass. I haven't seen her in so long." And I just started getting chills, and I was like, oh. And then I started talking like a pirate for like a week. And he was just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "This is my pirate musket." And he's like, "How do you know?" And I go, "This is mine. I had it made. I commissioned it in Spain. I was a pirate. I was like, a captain of a ship. And this is my freaking musket. It's mine." And then I remembered that I came down from Colombia, and I came all the way to Ecuador, and I lived here in a past life in the same city I'm in now. And my gun, when I died, ended up in an antique store, just waiting for me to go back and get it. And my son said, "Well, there were some pirate swords that looked like pirate swords." I'm like, "Well, I'll go back and get my sword later, but this is my gun." And I slept with it. I had to, because when you're a pirate, you don't trust that you're going to be safe. You just keep your musket with you. And I slept with it for 3 months, maybe 4 months, actually. And I just felt like if I have my hand on that gun, I felt happy. But that connected me. That was like the first physical thing that I ever touched that gave me a memory. That I already had the memory of being a pirate, but I didn't know my gun would still exist. It's a 350-year-old gun. And my son put his finger in the end of it, and he smelled it, and he went, "Holy crap, there's pirate rum. The smell of rum." And I did the same thing. I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, I used to clean my gun out with rum." That was, I found, I'd shake it up, and that would be the best way to get the gunpowder out. And he's like, "Why is it broken?" I'm like, "Well, during a storm, it misfired. I had gunpowder because the boat was so rocky, and there's mutiny, and they were trying to mutiny, and I shot the guy that was in charge of trying to overthrow me, But when I think about it, and I started actually getting into it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to accept that that's who I was. I've never killed anybody in this life except insects like ants or flies or something, but I've never killed a human being in this life. But in that life, I killed like 68 men with that gun. And I never killed women or children, but I know that I killed men, and most of them were like the Spaniard conquistador type. And they were keeping slaves in Panama, and I helped free a lot of them because I didn't believe in that crap. And plus, when you do that, you get to steal their baubles. So, win-win. Win-win, except for them. But I just accepted that about myself. And you know what? Just like me, you probably have lifetimes in which you killed people too. And when you start to become aware of it, you have to go, well, you know what? You got to really forgive yourself. You got to see who you were back then. And you don't make excuses for your behavior, but at the same time, you forgive anything that, because you had a different standard then than you do now. It was a different time then than it is now. And you have to realize that everybody has been through the human experience by now. We're all ascending. So we've all been, red, yellow, black, white, purple, green with pink polka dots. We've all been all of the things that you can be by now. We've all been rich. We've all been poor. We've all died in the street of starvation, and we've all probably been the person spitting on the poor people. And that's hard to reconcile from this perspective. But back then, you were a different person than you are now, right? Your soul's always been the same. But you have had to really go deep, deep, deep into your levels of forgetting who you were in order to have the experience of not being who you are. And then you have the experience of remembering who you are as you come back. And you come back to who you are. It's been a big frickin' circle. But a long circle, and it's kind of been more of a spiral pattern. So when you're God, you have complete awareness of everything. You're not going to hurt a fly, but because you are the fly. You're the man and the fly and the God and the space in between the man and the fly. But when we have to forget who we are and then scratch and claw and fight our way back. And then eventually we stop fighting, and eventually we just start accepting everything, and eventually we accept ourselves and others, and eventually we realize it's just a bunch of petty BS. And, you know, in the human story really started to come alive when in Greece they started realizing that we have a soul, and that we can maybe start unraveling our emotions and our mental patterns, and psychology was starting to be born. The word psychology comes from the root word from the Greek psyche, which means soul, and also it means butterfly. And what is a butterfly but a creature of transformation, complete transformation? And it's funny that it means soul and butterfly simultaneously. And so when I read this, I feel that the soul chakra helps us to see the grander picture of it all. But when you first open it, you're going to start remembering some weird stuff. You might not be proud of some of the crap you did in a past life, but you know what? Just forgive yourself. It's okay. We have all been saints, or not maybe saints, but we've all been, you know, pious, good, devoted to God people, and we've all been murderers. You know, we've all been, you know, slaves, and we've all been probably the slave drivers, and we've been, you know, the prostitutes and the people who would go to see the prostitutes. You know? Maybe not in this particular lifetime, but in all of the lifetimes. I mean, some of you have only been here once or twice. For me, I've been here since the dawn of frickin' time, you know. I've been on this planet so many frickin' incarnations. I've been here a long time. And so when my A chakra's opened up, it's like, oh yeah, I'm seeing the greater picture. And I'm able to love and accept myself the way I'm able to now love and accept everybody. And I don't judge anybody for what they've done or do, right? So what it says as far as the Ascension and A chakra on the Divinity magazine, they say, it says that we have all these programs and the ability to ascend, but it says the reality is going to feel like quite vague. Obviously, it does. It just feels so strange and vague, doesn't it? Now that we're opening this up, we're starting to understand who we are as divine beings. It's starting to dawn on us and set in like, oh, all right. We really are God. You know, it's not just a ego-driven feeling. You know, it's more of a humility and a humbleness. Like, damn, we are actually... We're actually divine, and we're humbled by it. It says, if you have a fear about all this stuff and you're absolutely terrified of spiritual stuff, it's going to remain shut until you clear that fear. Clear the fear. But when it does open up, what they have another list of spiritual abilities here, and it says, it's going to vary from person to person to what degree your abilities are, but being clairvoyant, traveling out of your body, advanced dream recall capabilities, healing gifts, telepathy, and empathy are abilities that this center is responsible for activating. So it says that the programming for these abilities is in the 7th chakra, but they actually come online when you open up the 8th. So it says if there's a problem with any of the abilities, but not the others, you have to look to the 7th chakra for the cause of that. Because we're all even, we're all equal, right? You know, we all have been given the same exact opportunities and gifts. But some will come online faster than others. Others we might have issues with. Or problems with. Like some people, masters of manifesting money. Boom, boom, boom. So easy. Flows through their hands like water. at the beach, like flowing, waves flow over your body. For some people, it's so damn easy. For me, it's been one of these things that freaking eluded me forever. Finally, I feel that it's starting to flow and come, that part of my manifestation. But that was my final thing. And I knew I programmed that into my life this time. That for whatever reason, I needed to struggle first, and then it's going to flow. And it's going to be like, oh, it's so easy. So easy to make money. Oh my God, it's so easy. But it wasn't easy for me the whole first half of my life. And I just started the second half like a few days ago when my birthday hit, when I turned 51, or as I like to say, 29 for the 22nd time. So let's see. It says you might not have any control over your abilities when they first happen, and they'll be sporadic at best. It says having advanced out-of-body travel skills, like traveling outside of the solar system or backwards or forwards in time, past 200 years, wow, won't show themselves until the 12th chakra begins to open. So understand these are latent abilities that will open for you. And of course, you're going to feel like you're crazy, but you're not. All right. Yeah, this is pretty cool. There's another website here, and we're only going to hit the 8th chakra today because it's so fascinating. According to the 4winds.com, they have, they're talking about the 8th chakra. Let's see. Now, Don Antonio is this person's spiritual teacher. And he says that there's 2 chakras outside the body. I know that there's 12. And then I've seen other people say there's like 16 or something. I don't even know about all that. But I do know that most twin flames that are incarnate have been operating from a 12 chakra system their whole lives. And I know that we all have 12 chakras, but the twin flames started activating their 12 chakras first, I guess. It's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. Might just be a lie. It says here, according to the 4winds.com, that the properties of the 8th chakra, it's called the Viracocha, the source of the sacred. And it is, let's see, it resides within the luminous energy field, which most people call an aura. And it hovers above the head like a golden spinning sun. Ooh, I love that. Think about that for a minute. That's pretty neat. And the properties of the 8th chakra are the element is soul, the color is gold, the body aspects, it's the architect of the body, the instinct of the chakra is transcendence. There are no psychological aspects because it's outside of the body. There is no gland because it's outside the body. But the seeds that are implanted in the 8th chakra are the seeds of timelessness. That would make sense. If we're all coming online with the 8th chakra, we're still experiencing the timeline hopping, the Mandela effects, the forward and backward, and the speeding up and slowing down, and the time warps, and the time loops, all of this crap. It's because the 8th chakra is coming online, baby. It says here the negative expression of it is templates of disease and cosmic horror. Horror, not prostitute horror, but horror, cosmic horror. And the 8th chakra is unaffected by death of the body. Let's see what else. It says it's like a luminous globe, and it envelops all the other 7 chakras in like a big vessel of light, which remains intact until it's time to manufacture and occupy another body. And the energy center is linked to your archetypal domain, the original images and memories that belong to the human collective. And you feel disassociated and disconnected from everything and your body when there's an energy buildup in the 8th chakra and it's blocking the chakra. And it kind of feels like you could be caught between the worlds of spirit and matter. Now that I read this, schizophrenics might be stuck. Their 8th chakra might be blocked and they might be stuck. And it says the Buddhists call the Bardo planes are the spiritual dimensions like purgatory between, neither here nor there. People that cling to the earth are trapped in this domain, and that's ruled by this chakra, I guess. When you have suffer a spontaneous, unbalanced awakening, then you get stuck in that realm. And people that go into mental institutions or join bizarre pseudo-mystical cults, it's when it goes wrong or something. Honestly, I don't want you guys to worry about that. I think what you need to do, even though that is true. Now, but what I do know is when you raise your Kundalini and you force it, and you force it and force it, but you don't raise it all the way up to the crown, and you raise it up to like the level of your navel, and then you freak out and you don't do anything to force it up. You don't will it with your will, with your divine mind up, and it can go right back down into the center of the earth. And then your Kundalini, you get tied to the center of the earth. And that's what causes mental illness, according to Doreel, the master teacher, God bless him and God rest his soul. That Grandma Marion, that's what she told me. He told her that directly. And she taught me that. And if you don't remember the Grandma Marion episodes, please go back and listen to, I had like 8 Saturdays in a row that I gave you guys conversations about Grandma Marion. She was a trippy lady. She was definitely a spiritual saint. If she was, if not a master, she might have been on her way to being a master for sure. It says that the chakra of the soul star is perceptual state of the eagle. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the 9th chakra. Never mind. I'll go back to this. I'm going to do the 9th chakra next week, I think, because there's still so much more information on the 8th chakra. So let's see here. There was correspondences that I didn't read to yet. Let's see here. Where was this? I was really excited to see this too. It said like the note and everything. Remember how we were going over that with all the other chakras? There's like a vibration of a note, and I read that this Soul Star Chakra is B flat. So let's see. I gotta see where was this one? Okay, here we go. The associations for the Soul Star Chakra, according to Divinity Magazine, the musical note is B flat. The color, they say, is ultraviolet light, and we can't see it with our eyes, but you imagine a very deep violet light, but it's interpenetrated with spiraling bands of green in it. So remember, I told you there's going to be conflictual information on this stuff. Gold, and I see it as gold and white. But I have seen this other stuff that they're talking about a little bit. And I think I've gone up way up into my other chakras above that. And, I went to a place where there's no color, and I went to the place where they're making color for this world specifically. I find it very interesting. I mean, I wonder if the colors are different in other worlds. It might be. I mean, God is an infinite being. It's not like there's only 7 colors and then variations thereof. Shrimp can see 256 colors, according to scientists. But how would they know? If they've never seen those colors themselves, right? Or is it 256,000 colors? I don't know. Not every shrimp, so it's the kind that we don't eat. So don't get panicked about that. And poor baby shrimp. Anytime you eat an animal, just connect with the spirit of it and be honest about who you are when you are eating the animal. Like, look, thank you for your sacrifice, and now you can live with me as long as you want, to come visit me whenever you want, and we can talk, because for animals, they don't have the same idea about death. Like, we're totally freaked out about it, but they're not. They know when it's time to go. All right, I'm going to go. All right. In fact, you know what? A really good movie I just saw, A Dog's Purpose. Oh my goodness. You've got to see. It is spiritually profound and a little heart-wrenching, but you've got to see. It's like a dog's perspective of being reincarnated over and over again as various different dogs. And what is the experience like? What are all the lifetimes like for a dog? And dogs do get reincarnated, so do cats. Like if you have a kitty cat that died, she'll probably be back in 6 months to be with you. Or within a year, you'll have her again. Animals, when they die, they come back to us. You know, they're like our companion. Our companion animals are literally our companion animals in many, many cases. So, all right. According to this, it says that the Soul Star crystals are danburite, Herkimer diamonds, moldavite, which I've heard comes from the Pleiades, yellow and golden labradorite, and selenite. Positive phrases are, I transcend negativity, I transcend karma, I transcend all self-imposed limitations, I transcend the illusion of ego. I don't know are those positive though? I think we should just cut it at the end. I transcend all, period. That's more positive, right? So, sorry, Divinity Magazine, but spiritual lessons are transcending our karma and instant manifestation, accessing our Akashic records, spiritual awakening, and dare I say, ascending. Ascending. Doesn't say that, but I know that's what it is. If you are imbalanced in this and it's underactive, you know that you have a life purpose, but you don't know what it is. You're still stuck in the ego illusions. You're still focused on the third dimensional world. You feel kind of inactive, emotionless. You feel kind of crazy, like just you don't want to get anything done. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to be here. You don't really want to kill yourself, but you want to be here either. You know, you just kind of, gain into other people's business, not really focusing on your own spiritual growth. But when it's overactive, now you have too much divine energy and you're going to feel a little bit sometimes confused, having issues with the time, of course, feeling spaced out, losing your purpose, not grounded, not being in the here and now, just kind of focused on the higher stuff. And the fear can set in, and that will drop you right back down to your first chakra. And then you don't have to start over, but you just have to focus on the balance, right? So when your ego rejects your deep spiritual truths, that will be like if you're out of balance with it. So you have to get grounded and you have to ask your spiritual guides and masters to help you. And so that's it. I mean, that's pretty much all I could say right now about the 8th chakra. If you have any questions, comments, or information about upcoming shows you want to hear, just send me an email, metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com, and send me a voice message if you want, anchor.fm/metaphysical. And I'd love to play it on the air if you have anything you want to say. If I've done a reading for you and you want to send me a little blurb so people can hear what it was like for you, I would love to have that as my little commercial. So, hint, hint, you guys know who you are. I'm just kidding. Actually, 2 of you I have to get to it in the next 2 days. I do have a couple people I'm going to read for. Anyway, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for being on this ascension journey with me. We're all in the same boat, hurtling at how many millions of miles per second through the universe together, as we are also hurtling towards being fully anchored into the 5th dimension and beyond. Some of us are going way up into the 7th and 9th. I have a girlfriend who's in the 9th more often than not. I hardly ever get to hear from her anymore because she's all the way up there. Although now she's in a hurricane, so she'll probably drop back down to the 5th for this week. But anyway, I love each and every one of you. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being my listener. Thank you for sharing, liking, subscribing, favoriting, whatever they call it, wherever you listen to my podcast. And thank you for sharing among all of your spiritual groups on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. And thank you for your iTunes reviews, because it's starting to get me on the iTunes charts. So I wanted to thank you guys for all of your help with that. We want to get the word out for all the newly awakening ones. They're going to want to have this information. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll be back next Sunday with information on the 9th chakra. And then tomorrow I'll be back with all unique and original and new programming. Like I said, the Arcturians wanted to come through. So I think we're going to talk to them about health tomorrow. And I'm going to probably try to relate it to the 8th chakra, to be honest. Because they're probably going to have some higher dimensional energy information for us that we did not know before. So, yay, stick around for that for sure. But that's all I got to say about that, guys. I love you. I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. So now I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy 5th dimension. Till next time, guys. Peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.